The last book that I gave 5 stars to in 2023 was, of course, Rouge by Mona Awad. I say, of course. Happy New Year. I know it's been a while. It's taking me a long time to post videos, but I'm trying to get myself on a regular schedule for YouTube, and I'm trying out some new things and experimenting with making more creative videos. So stay tuned if you want to watch more creative videos. I do have some upcoming things that I have planned out for within the next week or so. So stay tuned if you want to see an announcement about that. In the meantime, please feel free to subscribe down below if you like book content, if you like reading vlogs. I like to make reading vlogs, although like I don't really have that many interesting things going on in my life, to be honest. I'm quite boring, but every once in a while when something exciting is happening, I do like to share it on YouTube within a vlog format if I get the chance. So yeah, feel free to subscribe down below, take a look at my playlist, and subscribe if you want to see more book content. So as you can see from this title of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 stars, or all the books I gave 5 stars to in 2023. I read, I think it was like 61 or 62 books in 2023, and most of the books that I read I gave 4.5 and 5 stars to. I read a lot of really great books last year, and I'm really happy that I took an initiative to DNF a lot of the books that I didn't like, because it really made for a better reading experience, in my opinion, for myself. In the end, I ended up giving 13 books 5 stars, and I want to make this video a little bit more interesting. I also don't want to make it too long. So I'm going to be sharing with you all the books that I gave 5 stars to in 2023. And I'm going to give you kind of like a brief overview about the book and what I enjoyed about it. And to conclude each overview, I'll give you 3 descriptive words that I think describes the essence of the book. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first book that I read, or the first book that I gave 5 stars to in 2023, was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I was gonna say Fall of the House of Usher, but this is a retelling of Fall of the House of Usher. It's a story that sticks very closely to Poe's original work. One of the details that is changed a little bit is our main character is genderqueer character. This is going to be part of a series that is actually, I think it may already be out. It's called What Feasts at Night, and I think it's already out. It's February now, and I'm pretty sure it was supposed to come out in February. I really enjoyed this book. It was really quick read. Definitely has the gothic, still keeps very close to like that gothic, dark, moody atmosphere with a little bit more gore, I find. I read Fall of the House of Usher. I think I read it in university. Well, I read it in university, but I don't remember how gory it was, if it was gory. This, I think, has a little bit of gore in it. Not so much. I don't really remember anymore, which is kind of funny because I guess I read it in early 2023, so I don't really remember all the details of the book, but in all, I do remember enjoying it and liking it and finishing it within one day. So the 3 words that I would use to describe the essence of this book are vibey, creepy, and exceptional. So the next book that I gave 5 stars to in 2023 was Violetta by Isabel Allende. This was the first Isabel Allende book that I read, and after reading this book, I'm really curious to read more of her books. She writes all of her books in Spanish, and then they're translated into English. So this is a work of translation, and it's just a really beautifully told story. In this book, we follow the main character, our main character, Violetta, as she navigates tumultuous times marked by coups, government overthrows, and two significant pandemics. She was born into the era of the Spanish flu in the 1920s, and throughout her life, she witnesses political strife, she's unpacking family drama, and she experiences love and loss. And all of this culminates towards the end of her life and towards the end of her end of the book, where she recounts the story of her life to her grandson amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. If you like a character-driven story, this is definitely one to pick up. It's very much a character-driven story as we follow just Violetta throughout her whole life. And it's also very slow, and there's a lot of detail written into this book. What I also really enjoyed was the exploration of human resilience and the enduring power of storytelling, and how important storytelling is, especially when we're passing on those stories to the next generation. In 3 words, I would describe this book as resilient, heartbreaking, and captivating. The next book that I gave 5 stars to, and actually this is a graphic novel, was Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan. This is a fantasy sci-fi graphic novel where we follow a young family on the run and fighting for their lives. And that's all I have for now, because I only read the first volume. I was kind of left on a cliffhanger, and I'll definitely need to pick up the second and third volumes. I'll probably try to do that maybe throughout the year. Let me know if you would be interested in me reading the rest of the volumes. I could probably detail it in like a reading vlog or something. In 3 words, I would describe this book as epic, exciting, and a cliffhanger. The next book that I also gave 5 stars to was What Storm, What Thunder by Myriam J.A. Chancy. I had no issue whatsoever giving this book 5 stars. I think I gave it 5 stars after I read the first chapter. It's so beautifully written. In this story, we're following multiple point of views, all surrounding the 2010 earthquake that hit Haiti. Though this is a fictional narrative, these characters are written so vividly, and the author manages to capture the realities of the lives of many Haitians. She captures it so vividly and so well in her writing. And I wish I had the book here with me, but I had borrowed it from the library at the time, so I remember there being such beautiful lines in it. You know, there's characters who were born in Haiti and have lived in Haiti, but then there were characters who had not been to Haiti in a very long time and were visiting Haiti and trying to come to terms with who they were as Haitians while living in another country. And then the earthquake happened. It happened so suddenly that it just, cuts your life. Your life just changes immediately afterwards. And the author really manages to bring that through each chapter. We're meeting multiple point of views, meeting multiple characters, and we're meeting them for such a short time. And you think that, oh, let's go back to that character, but it's like, no, we can't go back. Now we're moving on to somebody else's experience, somebody else's life. So yeah, Myriam J. Chancy, she has literally become after just one book too. Like, I haven't read any of her other works, but after just one book, she's become like an automatic buy for me. And I think she has another book coming out this year in 2024. Yeah, it's called Village Weavers. I don't really know what that book is about, but I'll definitely be buying it. But this book, for me, in 3 descriptive words, I would explain this book as emotional, captivating, and realistic. The next book that I gave 5 stars to in January of 2023 was Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. Now, it was my first time reading Finlay Donovan. I read the first book in the series and I really enjoyed the first book so much that I went ahead and I got the second book and the third book and I read them back to back. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy the second and the third book as much. I really enjoyed the first book. It was the first kind of comedic crime mystery murder book that I ever read and I really enjoyed it, but the second and especially the third book kind of like fell off for me. And I know that there's a fourth book coming out, but I probably won't read that. But in all, I did enjoy the first book. I would say that, you know, if you haven't read Finlay Donovan yet, you know, go ahead and pick up the first book. It's actually it's actually quite good. It's quite funny. We're following the main character, Finlay Donovan, who is a writer, a mother, and she's struggling at the moment. I think she's going through like a divorce. And I think she's in a coffee shop with her agent and they're talking about her next book, and somebody next to her overhears them speaking and they think that she is a hired hitman or hired hit woman, and it just escalates from there. And I thought it was really funny and really fun, especially after reading like really dark emotional books at the beginning of the year. This was kind of lighthearted and it was really fun and funny. The 3 words that I would describe this first book is fun, murderous, and laughable. So the next book that I gave 5 stars to was Hungry Ghosts by Kevin Jared Hossain. This is a historical fiction set in Trinidad in the 1940s. This is another dark, emotional book that I really enjoyed. This book delves into the contrasting lives and deep divide between the rich and the poor. When wealthy Dalton Shangur disappears, his wife enlists or lures her farmhand Hans to come and stay with her because she feels that her life may be in danger. But it's not too long before things start to unravel and rumors start to spread about the two of them. I really enjoyed this book and I really enjoyed the author's writing. This book explores generational trauma. It also explores the lingering effects of colonialism, and all of this set against a backdrop of Trinidad and its lush pastoral landscape. Like I felt like I was in Trinidad. Like I can see, you know, the landscape. His writing really just sucks you in, and I really enjoyed this writing. It does get very dark and emotional. And, you know, in some instances, even like tense. You know, there is a little bit of like a murder mystery aspect to this book as well. And I really, really enjoyed this book. It was definitely a 5-star for me. I would say if you want to read more, if you're looking for more, a different kind of historical fiction book, especially set like in different countries, pick this one up. It was really good. I really enjoyed reading it. 3 words to explain this book I would say is mysterious, beautiful, and page turner. Yeah, unputdownable. One of those words. The next book that I gave 5 stars to was My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyenkon Braithwaite. For some reason, I went into this book thinking that it was going to be kind of like a Finlay Donovan kind of book where it was going to be like mysterious and comedic. And I mean, that's kind of what I get for not reading the synopsis, but I'm kind of happy that I ended up not reading the synopsis. I ended up really liking this book. I was taken aback that it was so dark, but it was so good for me. So in it we follow Korede, who is tasked with cleaning up after her sister's deadly escapades. Now that's all I'm gonna tell you, because I feel like if I tell you anymore, it'll give it away. And I would suggest to anybody who hasn't read the book, maybe who's curious about the book, just don't read the synopsis. Just go in and read it. It's a very short book. I think I ended up reading it in about 2 days or so. Just don't read the synopsis, because it will kind of give away the twist near the end. And I think that's why I ended up liking it as much as I did. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe it'll be the same thing for you. The 3 descriptive words that I would use to describe this book is dark, intense, and fast-paced. So the next book, and I finally did it. I finally read Bunny by Mona Awad last year. I gave it 5 stars, of course, and I won't talk too much about it because I'm pretty sure most of you have already read it or at least know what it's about. And I once proclaimed on my channel, this channel, that I don't like dark academia. But this book, I would say it's a dark academia with a touch of Mona Awad. This is weird. This one is weird. It's weird. This is weird. This is a weird book. And I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's playful, yet it's sinister. There's a lot of internal dialogue, and I really like internal dialogue when characters are just debating with themselves internally, you know, questioning themselves, or in so much self-doubt. And I can see how that would get really annoying for some readers, you know, a character who just can't get their stuff together. I would say most of Mona Awad's characters are like this, where they have a lot of internal dialogue and, you know, a lot of internal dilemmas. For me, Mona Awad is like an automatic buy. I just really enjoy her writing, and I would say in 3 words, this book is pink, weird, and deadly. The next book that I gave 5 stars to, and it's another graphic novel, and this is Bitch Planet, Volume 2. The only thing that disappointed me about this book is that it's finished. There's only two volumes, and I don't know if that's how it was meant to be, but I'm really sad about it because it definitely still ended on a cliffhanger. I was deceived, honestly. I thought there were 10 for some reason, but I think there were like 10 issues and not 10 volumes. So, but it's still a very good book. This is a short dystopic graphic novel where we follow women who are labeled difficult on Earth are sent to this prison planet. This book explores topics of misogyny, race, LGBTQ, trans, prison reform, all against the patriarchal oppression, with mostly white men in suits profiting from the suffering of these women. In volume 2, there's an attempt to escape, and it's kind of where it ends because yeah, that's where it ends, kind of. And I was really sad. I want to know more. I wish there was more of this book. I feel like it would be a really good like TV series too. It would be like a really good TV series that I would definitely like to watch and want to watch. If you are interested in reading this short graphic novel, it's a very easy, quick, fast read. And in 3 words, I would describe this book as dystopic, thought-provoking, and urgent. The next book that I gave 5 stars to was Grady Hendrix's My Best Friend's Exorcism. This was the first Grady Hendrix book that I read. I thought this was really great. This book touches on the bonds between friends. It has the 80s vibes to it, and it also has horror aspects of horror. Well, not even aspects, like this is a horror book essentially. We followed 2 best friends. They've been friends since they were in kindergarten, and one night after skinny dipping, one of the friends, I think Abby, notices that her friend Gretchen is not the same after, and That's because she's a demon. In 3 words, I would say this book is horror, intense, and 80s. Because it has that 80s vibe. So the next book that I gave 5 stars to, and this was a short novella, and it's called The Annual Migration of Clouds by Premi Mohammed. And this was a quick read, but it was such a small book, but it had such a big journey in it. It's unbelievable how much the author was able to put into this like tiny little book. It's set in a near dystopic future following a climate disaster. We follow the main character. Her name is Ride, and she was born into this climate disaster. She doesn't know anything before it, but older people like her mother know a time before the climate disaster, a time like now. They live in this like small society where they've never left this small society before. And one day she receives like a letter from this university telling her that, you know, she's been like accepted to this university. There's people encouraging her to go. And then there's people like her mom who are telling her not to go because they're not 100% sure there's actually anything out there. If this book has a sequel, or ever has a sequel, like I would be really interested in reading it because it was just really good. It was rich with detail. It was short but impactful, which I really liked. Yeah, it left me like eagerly waiting for like a prequel. Is it a prequel? A sequel, sorry. I would say in 3 words, this book is environmental, dystopic, and short. The next book that I read that I gave 5 stars to was Run Towards the Danger by Sarah Polley. This was I think it's the only nonfiction book. Yeah, it's the only nonfiction book that I gave 5 stars to. And I actually listened to it because the author narrates it herself, and it was really good. If you didn't know, Sarah Polley was a child actor. She played Anne in Anne of Green Gables. I think the TV series was like in the 80s or the 90s. So in this book, she narrates her own story through 3 significant time periods in her life. So you have her life when she was a child actor, an actress, you know, up to like her teens, I think. And then you have the time where she experienced sexual assault. And then you have her next experience where she had a concussion. She goes through those times in her life in detail. One thing that I really appreciated is her advocacy for the protection of child actors on set, because her story really shed light on the serious responsibilities often overlooked by the adults on the set. So she's really very much an advocate for children on sets, and her thought is that if your child wants to be an actor, a child actor, just don't do it. Just wait until they're 18, because there is no real like protection for child actors on set. But yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail. I would urge you to like read this book. It's really well told, really great story. And if you want to listen to it, she narrates it herself and she tells her story very well. I also want to mention that she's now a film director, and she directed the movie Women Talking. And I didn't watch the movie, but I did read the book, and I may watch the movie at some point. But in 3 words, this book is incredible, harrowing, and hopeful. And the last book that I gave 5 stars to in 2023 was, of course, Rouge by Mona Awad. I say of course because I just love this book. There's a lot of reviews. People either hate this book or are kind of like so-so about it. I kind of knew what to expect going into it, meaning like I knew that she was going to have a character with a lot of self-doubt. I was kind of ready for that. And I just ended up really enjoying this book a lot. This book really prompts us to kind of think about the beauty industry. Obviously, it's a critique on the beauty industry. There's also like the relationship between mother and daughter, like the fraught relationship between mother and daughter is in here. Following the death of her mother, Belle is an obsessed beauty YouTube viewer. She watches a lot of beauty YouTube videos. After the death of her mother, she has to sort out her mother's estate, and she finds that her mom was part of like this beauty cult called La Maison de Méduse. She believes that they may have something to do with her death, so she goes kind of like on the search for this cult. But as she gets there, she quickly gets sucked in to this beauty cult and quickly disseminates and has to confront significant life moments in her past. So there's a lot of kind of like going back and forth between the present and the past, which I actually kind of enjoyed because it kind of gave us a little backstory about Belle and about the relationship between her and her mother, as well as the relationship between her mother and her grandmother, which was really interesting. I would say this book it's frustrating, it's multi-layered, and intriguing. Yeah, those were the books that I read in 2023 and that I gave 5 stars to. I, again, really enjoyed all of these books. Let me know in the comments down below if you read any of these books, if you gave them 5 stars, and if you didn't, again, I want to know. I want to know if you didn't give this book 5 stars and why, you know, like what did you hate? Let me know, because I want to know. I'm curious to know those things. Yeah, I will be sure to upload and share some more videos in the coming weeks or days or so. I'm working on something at the moment and I will try to share that announcement very soon. I'm actually really excited for this video experience that I'm going to be doing, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So please be sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss that announcement and the videos to come, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.